And we know that there have been a number of developments following the death or the acid attack that led to the death of the Upper East Regional Chairman of the NPP, and following that, a number of incidents seem to have happened as well. But we're getting some news from the news wires.
Yeah, and the reports is that there's been some kind of shooting incident there. We don't know a lot about it. That's why we've raised our correspondent on the phone lines to give us more. The news is that gunmen have opened fire at a group of New Patriotic Party supporters holding a meeting at a location known as Popular Office in the Northern Regional Capital, Tamale. The incident happened last night. Leader of the group, Mohammed Awal, says the two armed men on motorbikes rode into the dock near the meeting venue and began firing shots at them. We now speak to our correspondents. Hashmin Mohammed is joining us on the phone lines with some more details. Hashmin, good morning.
Good morning, Mama.
So what's this whole shooting about, really? How did it happen?
Well, this incident happened at about 10 p.m. last night at a place called Popular Office at Abu Market, just opposite the Tamale West Hospital. The place is noted to be the resting place of NPP loyalists to Paul Afoku and Kobina Ajapon. Now, according to the loyalists of Paul Afoku and Kobina Ajapon, they were at the place when their attacker came from the market direction of the place and pulled a trigger at them, but no one got injured in the process.
So what is the police saying about this particular incident, Hashmin?
Well, police in the region say they have begun investigations into the incident, but they are unable to give details of the issue. For now, they say they want to treat it as purely a criminal issue, but not a political issue.
Do we know what led to the shooting itself?
That is the issue still under investigation. But in our interactions with this group of people who were attacked, according to them, throughout last night, they were receiving threatening messages from rival factions within the party, and for them, they are tempted into believing that the attack came from the rival factions within the party in the region.
All right, Hashmin, we'll leave it here so you can gather a lot more on this particular incident for us. Hashmin Mohammed is our correspondent in Tamale, giving us details on that shooting incident.
Well, we have David Agbee. He's the Executive Director for GIGSAS, the Ghana Institute of Security. Okay, so Ghana Institute of Security. Okay, Ghana Institute of Governance and Security, and we have David Agbee. He's Executive Director of that very institute, and thanks for joining us this morning. And now, particularly, what are the signs that this very latest incident is also a follow-up from the death of the Upper East Regional Chairman of the NPP following that very acid attack?
Yes, Roland, thank you so much. The name is Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. So I thought that, my brother, you could have got it right. But let's tackle the issue. I think that over the few weeks, what has happened to the NPP, especially what you said, the Upper East Regional Chairman, I think that the NPP people should have handled this matter diligently. One would have expected that Ghana, where we've gotten to now, we've transited from all kinds of systems to a civilization. And what happened in the Upper East suggests to me that there are people still in our society who are still in a state of nature where there are no laws, and so human beings tend to behave like, animals. And so they tend to do their own thing in their own way, where it becomes more of nasty and brutish, which is not good in our current democratic system of governance. We thought that now we are into a civilized society where people should respect laws, where people should respect a certain level of decorum, where people should respect, views from each and every one. Because we are talking about institutions like NPP, which is a public institution. And so we thought that people could respect, human rights. People should respect expressions of views. People should expect that there could be systematic way of handling situations. But here they are, people are jumping and pouring acid on a fellow human being, which they are debasing the dignity of human beings. And now it's like the leadership of the party has actually lost control. The flag bearer has also lost control. And so there is nobody holding the party together.
Now let's get to the point where, following the incident yesterday, we're told that regional executive meetings were convened involving the regional chairman. As a result of that, well, at least we're told 3 regions decided to pass a vote of no confidence on the chairman as well as the general secretary. At what point do we need to have the leadership, perhaps the leader of the party now, the flag bearer, coming to also make sure there's calm at the end of the tunnel?
Yes, it is a spillover, which is more like showing its ugly head, and people would have handled that matter quickly. The issue started right from 2008 when NPP lost the election. All kinds of accusations were leveled against ex-President Kufuor, and it boiled up to 2012. And some of us have been arguing that what NPP needs to do is to do a thorough research to be able to come to a conclusion why they lost 2008, 2012 elections. So by now they could have been able to gather enough information which will enable them to iron out all these kinds of differences. But what is happening now, it is almost like emotional, sentiment and bitterness, which has really engulfed the party. So it has actually, debased the party level of governance, where you could actually see a very giant people articulating very descending views is no more there. And so now we all expect that the flag bearer, ex-President Kufuor, and other important dignitaries in the party could have organized all the people and said that enough is enough. Let's stop all this kind of bickering in the party. Let's stop this kind of all noise, showing its ugly head and all that. So we are not expecting each and every one contributing one way or the other to resolve this matter. So it calls for a worry in our, the dispensation, as to speak. To the best of my knowledge, we've had all kinds of atrocities in Kwame Nkrumah's days and all that. But in current democratic regime, this is the first time that we've had somebody, pouring acid on a fellow human being.
Now, Mr. Agbee, as far as this very incident of the acid pouring on the demised NPP chairman of the Upper East region and all that has followed, perhaps do you think the actions that needed to be taken by the top executive because of the perceived compromise and perhaps the backlash that has also been received on sections or from sections of the leadership, that has also resulted in a certain vacuum, and so that has not been resolved, and so the latest incident has followed?
Yes. Roland, I said that it all began from 2008 when Nanado lost the election.
You've made that point.
And then spilled over to 2012. So one that, we should have thought that as a political organization, a research should have been conducted to establish why they lost these 2 crucial elections. So that everybody will find a way of handling, cementing issues within the party. But now it is almost like a bitterness and emotions carrying the party leaders all along.
Now, Mr. Agbee, how about this analysis? Look, going by the fact that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo since 2008 has been elected as a flag bearer, according to what the independent analysis and the sources say, we have a number of, actually, majority of his people in top positions of the party. It gives the inclination that the rank and file of the party really are for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Why is it that we don't have the minority sections, and whether they are factions or not, or are in disagreement with the flag bearer, come or fall into line and make sure they form a united force going forward?
That should have been the obvious situation, that whilst Nana Addo has won with a landslide almost about 94%.
So how do we get there? How do we make sure even the minority voices in the party who perhaps are not in line with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo would see that, well, they also need to fall in line and make sure that they are part of the whole unity process of the party?
That is what the two of us, you and myself, we've learned in leadership. That a leader, when it comes to a critical point of this nature, you should be able to step in to resolve problems. And as a leader, one of your cardinal points to do is that there are certain people that your mother will not allow you to greet them. But because you assume a leadership position, you must be able to extend and hands to greet those people.
So you're saying Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So are you saying Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo needs to step in, and what does he need to do, actually, in principle?
What he needs to do is that now we are saying, people are saying there is factions, so much factions in the party. The Nana Addo camp and Alain Tremantin camp, and then all the Alain Tremantin camp is taking an inspiration from ex-President Kufuor, Kojum Pianin, and other people. And when they went to the poll in Tamale, those people constituted almost about 8% of the vote. And so when you do a critical analysis of the percentage or the magnitude of votes that Nana Addo got in 2012, Nana Addo had almost about 5 million or 5.2. So you do a simple analysis of mathematics. Nana Addo had that percentage, and Alain Tremantin had 8%. When they went to Tamale 2, Alain Tremantin had 8%. 8% of 5 million. It's almost about 416. What percentage that our president, current president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, used to beat Nana Addo? Almost 320. So it tells you that even the minority, which is Alain Tremantin, he still has a very good ground in the party. So Nana Addo should be able to bring all those people together that, yes, if Alain Tremantin had almost about 416, even that 416 alone will be able to add up to my vote to beat His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. But they are not looking at that percentage. But what they are doing is that they want to do away with all those minority people and concentrate on the 94% that Nana Addo has. But with that 94%, Nana Addo wouldn't be able to become a president of this country. So in politics, you need to bring every bit of a human being onto the table so that you can have an absolute ground to operate. But they are not thinking about that. All that they are thinking about is that Alain Tremantin camp, let's sack all of them, let's silence all of them. And when you do that, you are not a leader. You are not holding the party together. You are not bringing everybody on board. And people need to see you bringing all those people on board so that you can actually have that championing position of a leader and authority. We expect the leaders to sit down by now to diagnose all these kind of problems. But we are not seeing it. So, Roland, one of the critical things that we need to tell Nana Addo, ex-President Kufuor, Kojum Pianis, and other dignitaries in the party is that they are deteriorating the party. They are painting the party black. Because here we are, they are not going to attract any floating voter anymore.
Okay, we haven't gotten there yet, right? So let's not jump into conclusion. But as far as we're concerned, what do you think immediately needs to be done? Because that's my last question to you. What do you think immediately, following the incidents that have been reported from the acid attack up to now, that need to be done immediately to resolve some of these differences?
Roland, what must be done now is that the party leaders, we will appeal to Nanado, we will appeal to Express Benkofo, we will appeal to Mr. Kodjon Pieni and other dignitaries of the party to actually organize themselves, sit down together and find a lasting solution to this crisis in the party. Secondly, they should be able to solicit an idea from serious political scientists, not people who only speak English but they will not speak about politics. They need to really solicit an idea from anthropologists, people who can diagnose into the thinking of human beings. They need to actually approach even psychologists to be able to assist certain group of people within the party, such that they can be able to resolve all these kind of conflicts within the party.
All right, David Agbee, thank you very much, and thanks for speaking to us for the morning. All right, David Agbee is the Executive Director for the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. And thanks for joining us, David. We hope to have you again sometime on the line in subsequent programming on this very subject, another topical subject to come up. Very soon also we'll touch base with the police, and we'll be having on the line ASP Ebereza Tete. He's the PRO for the Northern Region Police Command, and he'll be telling us about what the police are doing following reports that gunmen opened fire on a group of New Patriotic Party supporters holding a meeting at a location known as Popular Office in the regional capital, Tamale. And according to the report we're getting from correspondents, the incident seemed to have happened last night after the situation was immediately brought under control by the police. And leader of the group, Mohammed Awal, says the two armed men on motorbikes rode into the dark place near the meeting venue and began firing shots at the meeting crowd. He said they were targeted because they were perceived to be in the camp of embattled NPP National Chairman Paul Afoko and the General Secretary Kwabena Ejapong. Well, he vehemently rejected claims that they were anti-Akufo-Addo and condemned the perception that persons who were close to Afoko and Ejapong are opposed to Akufo-Addo's presidential ambition. And we'll try and get a lot more updates on that, especially from the police. Also, we'll be speaking to a number of security experts and governance experts as well to get an insight into what really the party and the leadership of the NPP needs to do as of now, immediately, to resolve some of these difficulties before going forward, have a medium to long-term plan as to how to resolve their important difficulties that they are facing currently as a party.
All right, so we'll take a break and we'll bring you a lot more after. All right, also joining us on this NPP issue is Dr. Emmanuel Kwesi, and he's Director, Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Hello, Dr. Enin, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
So I know that you've been part of teams on restructuring of conflict management and so on and so forth. If you look at this issue within the NPP today, what should they be doing, really?
Well, I think politics is about shared norms, values, and rules. What are the party's rules with respect to conflict resolution when, tensions arise in the party, and when different views seem to create, some discomfort? I think the party has these structures. I mean, this is not a young party, this is a mature party. If we take its history and we take its fourth Republican Constitution from 1992. So there are structures and procedures and rules, and those structures and procedures and rules must be followed. There may be some interpretational challenge, because different people might have different ways of interpreting the established rules. But the best way for the party, to get its act together is to ensure that the rules are followed, but also that there's a need for a demonstration of leadership. That I am the leader, these are the rules, this is the way that those rules will be applied to the best interest of the party and, of course, most certainly, of the generality of the people of Ghana.
In when you say leadership and I am the leader, these are the rules, would that require letting the chairman of the party and the general secretary, for instance, step aside?
No, what are the rules concerning when there is credible evidence that elected officials have infringed the rules of the party that also, in extreme case, do infringe the rules of the Republic of Ghana? Okay? Are the party's regulations clear-cut on these issues? If they are not, then the parties must make sense and ensure that their rules are clear. This is not about two people. This is about the way in which party political governance takes place in this country. That occasionally the separation of duties are not clear-cut. Parties have been formed and have become embedded over time because of familiar relations, old boyism and old girlism, and therefore quite a number of the party rules and regulations have not been tested. Okay, so what is happening, unfortunate and difficult as it is, may not necessarily be negative in the long term, because it forces the party, the card holders, the leadership, to sit down and say, how do we deal with internal challenges, okay, that shake the very foundations and the roots of the party? So they will need to learn how to dialogue a little bit more, listen a little bit more to different ideas, and to say, what is it that drives us or drove us to come together to form this party? Is it our personal interest, or it is the grander vision of shared values and of shared norms and of shared principles upon which we think we can govern this country because we have an alternative that the people of Ghana will be interested in? So in the long term, it may not necessarily be very negative in terms of what is happening. But there's a need for leadership, there's a need for tolerance, there's a need for dialogue, and there's a need for those who are involved to say, this goes beyond our individual self-interest or pecuniary interest. This is about a party that we love and the values that we all adhere to because we think those values are good for us and they are certainly good for the generality of the people of Ghana.
Dr. Henning, there are people who fear that this could degenerate. I mean, if you look at what happened yesterday, for instance, where a group of people were meeting reportedly and some people just pounced on them, started shooting.
Yes, but that is criminality. You see, we need, it is crucial and important that we always separate base criminal acts from political ends. When X number of people are meeting to discuss issues, difficult, controversial as they are, under no circumstances does it give a license to anyone to grab a gun and shoot. But from what you are telling me now, there are multiple implications of this. Where did they get the guns from? Are they licensed? Have they been taught how to shoot? Okay. And why do you want to shoot people who are meeting? So it looks to me as if the election security task force that normally would be established a year or 9 months to an election, I think the Inspector General of Police, I'm sure he's considering activating that task force now, because it looks as if the contestations around those who will lead parties into election 2016 have already begun much earlier than we thought they would. Okay, but under no circumstance can anyone use a gun, a machete, a club, even a penknife to threaten anyone in this country if those people have congregated legally under the remit of the law to have any kind of contestation. If you don't agree with them, it's the contestation of mine and the arguments that you put forward. But you cannot say, I am a macho man, or I am a member of Macho Men's Association, and somebody has hired me, so I'm going to disrupt, a legally constituted, public gathering. No. So I think those who did that must face the full rigors of the law, and I think the police, under no circumstance, must take people go free. Because if we don't, and we don't arrest those who were complicit in Mohammed's death, plus those who misbehaved yesterday, to serve as a deterrent, then it's going to get out of hand. You see, because in a society like ours, there are people who want to free ride and misbehave, and that they have political godfathers or godmothers who will protect them. That must end. That's number one. Number two, all of us must comply. You see, political engagement is about levels of compliance with the accepted rules governing the game. And that is what we call bindingness. Bindingness is about the levels at which we as members of an organization commit to upholding those rules. And it looks to me as if the center is not holding. And that for a long time, we've always felt getting access to political power by any means necessary is acceptable. And it's beginning to get out of hand. And I think it is contingent upon the security forces to step in right now and to arrest, present people to court with the evidence and get them punished.
So,
yes.
No, I just wanted to ask finally, you keep mentioning the security personnel should step in. I just want to ask you, how should they approach this? Because you know how we've talked about if it's internal party politics, then the approach should be a bit different.
No, if you use a gun or an offensive weapon, that's against the law. Whether it's an internal party political organization or incident, whether it is a domestic incident, irrespective of what incident it is or gathering, you cannot and you must not flout the law by using offensive weapons. If the security and intelligence agents fail in apprehending such people because they think it's an internal party political thing, and therefore they don't have the remedy to do so. And I think it's important that you talk to Stefan Atta this morning to explain this. Let the message go out clearly across this country that if you flout the law by using offensive weapons in a threatening manner that causes harm and fear, that's against the law. So please call Stefan Atta and let him explain this and cite the appropriate section of the law so people get clearly, or you can call Mr. Kudalo or Agbee. It is important that this is done.
Okay.
We cannot and we must not allow people to take the law into their own hands.
Very well said, Dr. Kwesi Anin. We'll leave it here. Really, really grateful for your time. Dr. Emmanuel Kwesi Anin is the Director, Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center.
And we'll bring you a lot more updates on the subject of what has happened in Tamale, in which a group of people meeting were said to have been sprayed with bullets by unidentified gunmen, and so far we've had the police, the Northern Regional Police Command, trying to get a head start as far as investigations are concerned on that very incident and try to pick up leads as to what really may have happened or might have happened and how they hope to deal with that going forward. But in the meantime, though, we'll have to bring you this because it's interesting. Biogas has proven to be a modern source that has improved the lives of people who have used it for decades. Now, Adelaide Arthur has put together this piece on one man who is generating energy from biogas.
In a matter of 3 days, this cow dung will become your source of energy, providing fire for cooking and lighten your home. This is useful as Ghana is struggling with short supply of electricity and poor sanitation. It is Sunday afternoon. Nanado Donko prepares to step out for waste material. He uses the material he gathers to generate biogas for cooking and electricity. A mechanical engineer from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Nanado makes a living generating biogas for others. He has several suppliers in the capital, Accra. He has come to the home of one of his suppliers.
Good afternoon. I'm after Musa.
He is not around.
I was here in the morning and requested for cow dung.
Is he aware?
Yes, he asked Yusuf to help out.
Yusuf is the son of the supplier. He will help Nanado gather some cow dung for a token. Nanado endures unpleasant smell always, working with waste material, but he believes this is effective recycling. Vegetables are also useful, but there is an advantage with cow dung.
The cow dung is faster than the spoiled vegetables. That's why you have to ferment it for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks before you start using them. Cow dungs, they are not difficult to get them. But I go to my suppliers, they give it to them, and I give them something, yes. Because they are going to throw it away anyway. And you know cow dung to, if you leave on the open for a while, it will emit methane gas, and that is harmful to the environment.
Back at home, Nanado begins the process with water.
After putting bit by bit, very, very heavy.
For him, protection is key, not only for the stench. He uses other chemicals too.
Very heavy.
Though the process requires a bit of effort, it is worth it. The added advantage is that a user can prepare the mixture easily.
To stay for some time. You're seeing the bubbles and the foam. You have to check the acid level, pressure of the liquid. It has to be semi-solid. I've added the inoculator. It's to speed up the reaction.
Nanado is finished with the mixture. He fits the gas holder into the digester containing the liquid.
This one, when it started generating the gas, you will not experience this, the stench again. This one is 200 grams, and it will last for 1.5 to 2 hours per day. Continuous cooking. Yes.
Among the clients of Nanado is the Accra Academy Senior High School. The school has a 35,000 CD commercial biogas facility which runs on human waste. The school wants to use the biogas for cooking. Nanado is here to ensure the 100 cubic meter system is useful.
Testing the presence of methane in the system. Then from here, I have to connect the pipe from here to the kitchen. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
He needs about 3 pumps, pipes, and hose to transfer the gas over 20 meters to the kitchen. Meals are prepared here for about 1,000 students and staff every day.
So this is the place you...
Evelyn Nkrumah is the senior domestic baser of the school.
I'm asking the fire flame and then the gas.
No, it will not affect it. Not at all.
Okay, that's the problem.
So maybe we can even convert this one to
gas.
the biogas.
So that we can use the
firewood.
Yeah, that would be better. We prefer that one.
You prefer that one,
the
converting the firewood to the biogas. They are using the local stove, they are using firewood. So it will be appropriate to place the stove here, then the biogas balloon behind them. Then they can use the gas from the chamber to this place.
A biogas system is quite costly, and this often discourages people from getting one.
Sometimes they will come, they do the inquiries, and they'll go. They'll call me later to tell me the thing is too expensive, I should do something about it for them. And sometimes I really can't do anything about it because of the materials involved.
That notwithstanding, Nanado plans to expand his enterprise.
I've planned to have a bigger facility, modern machines, to manufacture my own even tanks. Yes. That plan is in the pipeline.
After 3 days, the mixture Nanado prepared failed to generate gas. Ideally, the biogas is expected to start forming 24 hours after the mixture is prepared. Nanado encountered a technical problem, which he quickly resolved.
During my routine check, I noticed there was a crack in the neck of where the valve is. And I have to fix that problem. Because if you don't fix that problem, air will enter the system and it will not generate a gas. It will rather generate carbon dioxide, and that will be a problem.
Apart from the delay in the gas generation process, such a problem may bring about extra cost.
You have to change the whole system again. Not the complete system, but the accessory, the cap, the valve, you have to change it. I'm not worried about it. I know surely it will generate the gas, but it will take a little time to do that. So I'm not worried about it. I explain these things to them. Even before I start the system, I have to explain it to you, because we are working with material. We don't control them, they control themselves. So we only have to do the right things. The standards, we follow the standards. But if it's not working, but this one is purely technical, it's not biological, because we had a crack in the neck of the valve. That's why. So we have to refix it and wait for some time for the material to work and generate the gas.
There are, however, several success stories. One of them is a domestic system he recently fixed for a company. This is similar to what Nanado has in his home, except it generates gas from vegetable waste.
It is more beneficial as compared to the LPG, because once the system is being put in place for close to 10 years, that is the lifespan. They are not going to buy gas.
If more homes, schools, and factories start using biogas, the environment will become cleaner. People will not die from preventable diseases such as cholera. It will also help increase electricity supply.